Welcome back to Worldview. Now, a few weeks ago, Pete Kennedy joined us to discuss the legal battle over the transport of raw milk across state lines. That's unpasteurized milk, and how that opens hard-working farmers to the specter of arrest. Well, indeed it has. Now the issue receives global attention starting next week as a trial begins in tiny Sauk County courthouse in Wisconsin. They're going to be filing suit against a local dairy farmer. Vernon Herschberger is charged with 4 criminal misdemeanors that could land this husband and father in county jail for up to 30 months and fines in excess of $10,000. Now, the Wisconsin Department of Agricultural Trade and Consumer Protection targeted Herschberger for supplying a private buying club with fresh milk and other farm products. And we've all been watching Governor Scott Walker wade into all sorts of fights. But when you go after cheeseheads and the men and women who produce it in the dairy state, you'd better be prepared for a fight. Joining us today is Liz Reitzig. She is co-founder of the Farm Food Freedom Coalition and the Grass-Fed on the Hill Farm Buying Club. And she spent the last 6 years representing small farms and consumers at the state legislature and in the halls of Congress, lobbying for fewer restrictions on farmers. Liz is a mother of 5 young children to whom she feeds nutrient-dense foods from local farmers she knows and loves. Liz Reitzig, welcome to Worldview.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for covering this important topic.
Well, it's great to have you. Liz, this issue just flummoxes me. How and why does the government care about pursuing this independent farmer when his state has so many more bigger problems?
Well, I mean, that's really the big question, isn't it? Like, if we could figure that out, I think we'd be able to solve the issue and they wouldn't be going after them anymore. But I think really what it comes down to is the government protecting the interest of the dairy industry.
Right. Now,
the small farmers are a threat to that.
Oh, indeed they are. And indeed, as the world moves away from genetically modified and other foods towards wanting to know where it is, it's the local farmers who are going to become the leads. How did you personally become involved in the raw milk issue?
Well, I got involved with the raw milk issue when my oldest daughter, who is almost 11, when she was a baby, and I decided to transition my family over to raw milk, nutrient-dense foods. It became very difficult in my state, I live in Maryland, to get raw milk. And when I realized just how difficult it was and why, it got me really upset, and that really motivated me to get active politically on it. And ever since then, it's just been snowballing from there.
Yeah, and so you've been active in starting this thing called the Farm Food Coalition. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how that works.
Well, the Farm Food Freedom Coalition is basically an organization dedicated to helping promote and preserve direct farmer-to-consumer transactions. So we're there to support farmers who are facing incarceration. We're there to help facilitate people who are looking for networks of food buying. We work with other NGOs on the GMO issue, and we work with groups like Pete Kennedy's Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, and just collaborate as much as possible to make sure that people are aware that they have the right to procure the foods of their choice from the producer of their choice, and so that producers can feel like they have support in food production, even when they know that the state does not support them.
Okay. We're talking, by the way, with Liz Reitzig of the Farm Food Freedom Coalition on Worldview with Denis Campbell. Liz, let's take a look into some of the specifics of Vernon's case. I mean, is this have the potential to be a test case or more of a nuisance to big food producers?
Oh, absolutely, this is a test case. This is precedent setting either way. The state is focusing tremendous energy and resources on this. They've already spent about 3 years with the prosecution, many pretrial hearings. They're calling over 40 witnesses, and they've allocated 5 days for Vernon's criminal trial. This is a big deal to the state, and it's a big deal to us because if Vernon is found guilty, well, first of all, the most immediate impact of that is that this amazing, peaceful farmer, husband and father will go spend time in jail. And the bigger picture of that is that the way he operates his buying club through a private contract with members, that way of people procuring foods is now threatened across the country. This will set a precedent either way.
So if you look at it, and as you said, it's one farmer, but there's a potential for a ripple effect, obviously. But why is Big Food so worried about this one farmer?
Well, we've seen this same type of action against farmers across the country. So it's not just this one farmer, unfortunately. However, this case is precedent setting because it's testing the private buying club, the contractual arrangement there, and it's testing the Fiedler ruling that came out a couple years ago, in which a Wisconsin judge basically said nobody has the right to consume the foods of their choice. So it's really a testing for that as well.
Do tell us a little bit more about the Fiedler ruling. I think our audience would be interested in hearing about that one.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm up on all the details of it, but essentially there was another case in Wisconsin involving the Zinneker farm, and the judge ruled a few things in that case, including that people do not have the inherent right to the milk from their own cow, nor do they have the right to procure the foods of their choice or eat healthy foods. They don't have a right to that. And I mean, that's pretty big for a judge to declare that. Well, a couple weeks after he made this ruling, he retired and went to work for Monsanto.
Okay, say no more, as they say.
Right.
Fascinating stuff, Liz. Thank you so much for joining us here on Worldview. We've been speaking with Liz Reitzig of the Farm Food Freedom Coalition. You can read more about the coalition's work online at www.farmfoodfreedom, that's one word, .org. And you can follow Liz on Twitter at farmfoodfreedom. Now, coming up on the program, we'll see another piece from our student partners at Atlantic College on sustainability and their recent conference there fighting the fracking industry. You're watching Worldview with Denis Campbell. Stay right here.